Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to tonight's stream. We're a little bit earlier tonight than we normally would be, but that's cool. I thought I'd just jump in. Not done a live for a week or so. Took a week off last week, that's why. So I had a break from not just streaming, lots of stuff. Just had a week's relaxation. But yeah, glad to be back. So great to see everybody. And I thought tonight we had a new UK route announced yesterday, so I thought it'd be a good chance to get in and do some UK stuff. So I'm still subject to the DLC add-ons manager problem at the moment. So I've got a few things in. I thought we'd jump onto the West Somerset because I want to. Where is it? There it is. Because what I want to do is run the Western Class 52 on the Western Revival. So that's what I'm going to do. It's an hour and 20, this scenario. It is lead a Class 52 rail tour as it returns towards London, having spent the day at the West Somerset Railway. So I think that's the one I'm going to do. So let's jump in. Hey Dave, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to Minehead. We've just finished refueling this Class 52, ready for its journey back to London. So here it is, D1015. I think this is Western Champion, isn't it? Indeed it is. Bus and train spotter in Devon, how are you? Can we have a few tones? Yeah, we can have a few tones, why not? Let's get on board. Now, I've not run this one for a long time, and as you can see at the beginning, I've not run it at all on PS5, so... oh, that's new, isn't it? That's the Contact the Signalman, isn't it, that they put in? Right, let's get that on. Let's get that to forward. To reach the coaches in the down platform, first set the track to head out beyond the station. Let's get everything set up first, lights-wise, if I can remember. Oh, they're all down on this panel, aren't they? So that's the headlights. No, that's the classification. Don't need the... Are the marker lights the white lights? Nope, that's the red one. They're small, aren't they, on this? Right, so we don't need that one, because we're at the front of the train. Where is the headlight? There it is. I'm not putting the AWS on, etc., because it's just a waste on this route. There's a 33 coming in, which is another nice loco that I quite enjoy. Instrument lights are down here as well, and I think that'll be the final thing we need to do before we can leave. There it is. And I know you can change view to get to this panel, but sometimes it's easier if you can just aim it right, just to do it this way. I did have them then. There they are. That's better. There are the tones, especially for bus and train spotter in Devon. So they're not very loud, are they? It's something, but yeah, it's not very good, is it? Right, let's get the points set up. I think that one's ready. It's just that one we need. We're coming out the station and we're backing up, aren't we? So, Dave, you've been hammering train life, and you're not bothering with TSW3 until it's fixed. You mean the add-ons manager, or you mean just generally? There's a roadmap tomorrow night. So, you know, on a personal note, I'm waiting for the add-ons manager, I must admit. I just can't get the full choice of the routes. Yeah, I'm like you, Dave. I've got everything, and it is frustrating. Dovetail, no, it's frustrating. So it's in testing, but I do keep having to, because it's PS5. I do have to keep swapping the routes in and out, and it's just, yeah, it's not ideal, is it? Yeah, the horn's weird, Train Spotter. I don't know if that's true to life. Do you know? I don't even think I've seen a 52 in real life, so I'm not even sure what the horn is like. It seems a bit weak to me, that. Queen Bee, how you doing? Right, so we're coming just beyond the station and then backing up for the coaches. Yeah, mostly the add-ons manager, yeah. It's the big stumbling block, isn't it, at the moment for anybody that's on the PS5. Yeah, I'm pretty good, thank you, yeah. Did you see the video yesterday, Queen Bee, about the new route that's coming out? That's pretty local to you, I think, isn't it? It's Birmingham, Redditch, Lichfield, that kind of area. It's not too far away, is it, from you? So I'm obviously quite looking forward to another UK route. This particular route is not. It's one I've travelled on actually fairly recently-ish. I say fairly recently. It was pre-pandemic, but I don't know too much about it, to be fair. But it's UK, so yeah, it's all good. Right, let me call this one in so that we don't go through a red. We've done enough of that on these live streams to last a lifetime. And we'll get hooked up to these coaches, then we'll be on our way. You just hopped off and checked the horn. The dovetail have gone a bit off with the horn, just like with other trains. Yeah, it's always seemed a bit weak, this one. I think this is the one where it's described as a rear-facing horn. Don't exactly know what that means. Have we got one that's at the back somewhere? Not sure. Seems a bit wimpish, doesn't it? I mean, it's not gonna make you jump off the track if you stood there, is it? I think some of them. This one, it seems very Casio keyboard, doesn't it? If you get that reference, it's like someone's pressed a few keys on the old keyboard there. Let's get these hooked up. Oh, do I need to change the coupler? There we go. Right, so we're ready to go. Ready to go from here. The train is scheduled to call at Williton and Bishop's Lydyard only. That's good. Wheels, how you doing? Nice to see you. What do I think the Rivet Games DLC will be? That's a good question. And you know, I honestly don't know. I think there's a lot of speculation, isn't there, that it could be something Scottish. Probably based on stuff they've done before for Train Simulator Classic. But I mean, the last one they did, the West Cornwall, the route itself, I don't mind the route. I think the 150 still needs some work, but I think the route itself is quite good. So yeah, if it is something in Scotland, that'll be good. And we must be due a visit somewhere in Wales as well at some point. I don't know if we're going to get any Welsh railways you know, from a UK perspective, because that'd be good too. There's that North Wales coastline that always looks quite good in Train Simulator Classic, and I wouldn't mind a little bit of that, to be honest. Bit early tonight, yeah, it was a little bit early. As you know, Queen Bee, I've got a bit of a trip on tomorrow, so I didn't want to have a late finish, so I thought I'd start a little bit earlier. Being as I'm away tomorrow. Laserjet, how you doing? Nice to see you in. So this is actually a really nice engine. Do you remember for a long time we could only run this engine on West Somerset, and given the speed limitation, it was a bit frustrating. We all wanted to give it a good blast, didn't we? And then we got the scenario planner, and we were able to put it on Great Western, and that was good, opening it up on there. Same in the Class 33 as well, because the 33 was only available on this route. It's a DLC linked to this route. It was great when we could open them up, and now of course with Creators Club we can pretty much run them where we want. It's good, but for the longest time, trundling along at 25 miles per hour in a beast like this was a bit frustrating. I probably wasn't the only one who, off stream, put my foot down on the West Somerset and gave it a good blast, to be honest. Not very realistic, but had to be done. Plymouth to Exeter route would be good, or Exeter to Bristol. Are you from around that area then, Trainspotter? I know it says Trainspotter in Devon. I noticed you got Exeter in both those suggestions. This is your favourite route, is it, Laserjet? And it's also your local heritage railway. That's pretty good. Yeah, I quite like it. Again, it's one of those ones, because of the speed, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think heritage railways are this speed, aren't they? All heritage railways are this speed. So, I mean, once you get used to that, it's actually quite nice. I tell you what's quite nice, running steam on the West Somerset as well. So if you want Spirit of Steam and you just flick one of those engines over onto here, there's a lot of scenarios actually that people have created on the Creators Club for Steam, and yeah, it's quite nice running steam on here, just for a complete change. Especially with the way it's uphill, downhill, you know, pretty much the whole way, isn't it? There's a few flat stretches like this, but there's a few gradients that can catch you out. So it's quite tricky in a steam engine, but it's a good challenge. And plus, it adds a bit more to this route as well, doesn't it? Being able to use different things, different locos, different engines. Right, you're from Exeter, cool. Do you think they'll release a small portion of the East Coast main line, maybe towards the end of TSW3 or TSW4? And yeah, it's difficult to say, isn't it? It's difficult to say. The thing is now that there are a few more parties working on TSW content, aren't there, other than Dovetail, so there's definitely more potential for it. And I guess there's also potential for multiple projects to be worked on at the same time. So the amount of DLC might shoot up as well, I would say. I don't know if Dave's still in. I think this is one of your favourite routes, Dave, as well, isn't it? I don't mean in Train Sim World. I mean you've visited a few times in real life, as I recall. Because I know you're always telling me to look for the Butlins and various other landmarks that don't properly appear. That's the beauty of not knowing a route. You can't complain at how accurate it is. Right, this is meant to be a 5 here. Not going to worry too much. You'd like DTG to make a proper timetable for a steam loco, but they might have to rebuild the whole route. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the limitations are, because we've had other routes, haven't we, where separate timetables have been added afterwards. So if you think about Diesel Legends for Great Western Express, that's got its own timetable. The Arosa line has got its own timetable for the 100th anniversary set. There's various other ones, aren't there, that have got different timetables. Bakerloo, I think, has got a couple of timetables, so it's possible that they could add something as an additional sort of journeys type DLC. Looks like they've been testing the water a little bit with that, haven't they, just recently. So I think anything's probably possible. When do I think Just Trains will release their first route? That is difficult to say. I have absolutely no idea. I guess that would depend if they've already been working on TSW for a while before the announcement, or if the announcement is the first time they're looking at it. I don't know. So we get to pick up speed very shortly. You're on this line last Thursday, and watch at station is modelled completely wrong. Yeah. See, it looks good to me because I've never visited. The whole route actually, look, I mean, it's very scenic. It's very nice looking, especially once we get to this, this coastal area that's coming up on the left hand side. That's very nice. But I know what you mean. If you do know the route very well, you'll notice right away. Farah, how are you? Long time no see. Another 2p for yeah, for watching the adverts. Oh, Queen Bee's missed the Streamlabs now. Stand by, everybody. Oh, that's a good point, Laserjet. Yeah, the refueling and watering side of it. Yeah, I don't know. Can they not add assets in? Could they not just add that? I'm really not sure. Yep, see you, Wheels. Thanks for coming in. Bishop's Le George steam sheds are also missing. Yeah. And the castle is missing. I think you've said that before. All good here, matey. Mr. Streams. Oh yeah, I just had a week off. I had a week off last week. Well, a week and a day I had off. So I decided to do, a whole lot of nothing really. Not just streaming. Just. I didn't really. I didn't go anywhere. I was only at home, but I didn't really go on the PS5 or do anything else. I just did completely nothing. Just had a refresher, It gets a bit like that sometimes, doesn't it? Queen Bee, you just had your nails done and can't type fast. Well, that's good enough for us then. That'll save us getting our virtual ears bashed. Yeah, that horn's dodgy, isn't it? Yeah, I never considered the additional assets that they may need to put in for Steam. That's a good point. Maybe originally they never intended to put Steam on the route. Probably at the beginning, because this was the first. Well, certainly on console, West Somerset was the first DLC, wasn't it? After the main game, back in the original train sim world. And at that point, they were probably a long way from working out how to do Steam. If they'd have known how to do Steam, they probably would have put Steam in right from the beginning, but it's took them till Spirit of Steam to work out how to do that. So they probably would have put the assets in. But at that time, they probably wondered if Steam would ever come to West Somerset, because as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, but West Somerset is predominantly Steam, isn't it? I know they've got a few diesels, but yeah, this is set up as a diesel route. So yeah, you noticed it as well, train spotter. Yeah. I think a lot of the future of old DLCs being updated as well will largely depend on how popular the original DLC is. And I said at the beginning, I quite like this route, but because of the speeds, a lot of people probably like the route but don't play it a lot because of the speeds. They'd rather, go on one of the German routes or a London commuter and give things a good blast. I don't mind a mix of, a bit of both, to be honest. There's the coast. I think there'll be a fair few people on that beach, to be honest, on a day like this. Unless I'm very much mistaken. It's got a class 115 that runs on the line. I don't think I'm familiar with that, a 115. Steam all year, but in the hot days is diesel. And there was the WSR Steam Express, but pulled by two West Coast Railway 33s. Oh, there's the West Coast Railway all the way down there. The West Coast Railway are based not too far from me, up in Carnforth. So they must get out and about then, the West Coast Rail. Oh, the 115 is like a 101, okay. Now, have you tried to run the 101 on West Somerset? Because that's interesting. That is a good challenge. I mean, I don't mind driving the 101. I'm pretty used to it. But again, a lot of people didn't like the 101 because of the gears. There's a lot to do, isn't there? You're not just putting it in forwards and then using the throttle and brake. You're using the gearing. But I quite like it, and it is a challenge on here. Again, there's a lot of scenarios for it in the Creators Club that you can pick up. But it's very suited to this route. Especially with that clickety-clack of the rails, There's the caravan park. Does look nice, doesn't it? Farah, you find the brakes tougher than the gears. Yeah, the brakes, yeah, the lap brake kind of takes a bit of getting used to, doesn't it? I also find it a bit more difficult since we went to TSW2. The layout of the hood changed with TSW2, and I knew exactly how to do the brakes by looking at the dials in the old game. It's a bit more trickier since TSW2 and in TSW3. So I kind of do the brakes on the 101 by the feel rather than looking at the dials, which is a bit... Well, I mean, you can drive anything, can't you, by look and feel, but the dials are there for a reason. But I always struggle to kind of interpret them with this hood a little bit on the 101. Hey Kobe, how you doing? Yeah, no problem, Queen Bee. See you shortly. Yeah, Laserjet. I think the Spirit of Steam is probably the tip of the iceberg, isn't it, for steam trains? And it was a very popular route when it released. So I'm sure that you're not on your own there, wanting more steam trains. Can speed up slightly actually for the next couple of miles. Yeah, so this hill we're on right now is fairly steep. So when you're in the 101 or you're driving a steam train on here, it does present a little bit of a challenge. On the face of it, West Somerset doesn't seem like a challenging route at all, does it? Given the speed, but there are some challenges depending on what it is you're driving. This one's fairly easy. This is your favourite heritage line, is it, Colby? Excellent. Yeah, because I wasn't sure. I thought I wanted to stream this, and I wondered if, you know, what I'm trying to say is I wondered how popular West Somerset still is with everybody, because it is the oldest DLC for Train Sim World on console, but I like playing it, so I just dip in every now and again. And I'm on a mission to try to complete all the scenarios that I've not yet mopped up. And I think I've got 4 or 5 to do on West Somerset across the various DLCs and the main route. So I'm working my way through. Some of them are quite long. I think this one's 1 hour and 20. Amount of diesels on this route is unmatched. Yeah, it's quite nice, isn't it? Makes it special, yeah. Yeah, leaves on the line with a steam loco, wheel spinning. Yeah, I can imagine that on this hill. Say Booms, how are you? Good to see you. Alright, so we're just over 3 miles out of Williton. That's the good thing about this scenario as well, it doesn't stop at every station, so you do get a good chance to have not a full run end to end, straight through, but there's only a couple of stops. And I think this is the one, when you get to Bishop's Lydyard, it then carries on beyond where you would normally stop and goes to the main line. Because this scenario, the idea behind this scenario is you're taking a rail tour back to London. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if there was a connection from the end of this line, we would end up on the Great Western Express. Somewhere on the Great Western Express. Again, tell me if I'm wrong. My railway geography is not as good as some of you guys, but I'm almost sure we would end up somewhere on the Great Western Express. Yeah, this is West Somerset. Do I have a Discord server? No, I don't have one. I was thinking about it. That didn't quite work out, did it? Let's have a look. That's a good shot. Love the hills in the background. Right, so we're shortly going down to a 10. This section's a bit strange. It goes from a 10 to a 20, back to a 10. Dave, you got 20 cities levelled up in Train Life, 15 million in the bank. 4 employees and 4 engines, right. You see, I got all 10 employees working because there was a trophy for that. But I've not touched Train Life for the past couple of weeks because of those issues in my last video that I did. That last patch didn't quite work out for me. So I'm just waiting till the next patch and then I'll jump back into it. It'll frustrate me if I go back into it now because I know some things are not working as they should. But it's not all bad because I'm not on Xbox. If I was on Xbox, I'd probably would have thrown the thing through the window by now. Because I know most people on Xbox are struggling just to get the game running. Right, I'm slowing down for this 10. Say you used to volunteer at Bishop's Lydyard at weekends when you were at high school. Oh, that's pretty good. Well, we will be running through there once we get to the end. The main line connection heads into Taunton and splits to go to Bristol and Westbury, then those two lines meet at Reading. There we go. I knew there was a connection, yeah. I knew it came out somewhere. So is that a potential for another route? How big is that route from the end of this line? I do keep wondering. Quite a few of the DLCs cross each other, don't they? Or you know, if you think of Rows Ignored, for example, a couple of the routes are both coming into Hagen, aren't they? Does make me wonder whether or not at some point they might try to connect them. Was it Ryan Ruhr Austin, or was it? I can't remember which one. Which is the other one with Hagen? I haven't got a lot of those commuter German routes installed at the moment because of the add-ons manager issue. I can't have everything installed, so I forget. But yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Although to add something to South Eastern High Speed, they completely reissued the route, didn't they? To add the extra bits. So I don't know. train life, you mean, Dave? Yeah, a few bugs, but not game changing, just annoying. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it before the patch. Like you, I wasn't really that fussed about the HUD changing. I don't really. I mean, it's all right. I don't mind it, but I don't think it needed. It didn't add anything. It didn't add any quality of life for me to the game. So I'm just going to wait until the next patch and see what happens before I play it again. That's right, Booms. Yeah, Norton Fitzwarren. So we will on this one. Generally, the services going this way will stop at Bishops, but this particular scenario that we're doing does actually carry on to Norton Fitzwarren, and it stops right where it meets the main line. So this one is a bit unique compared to most of the services that come with the route. The West Somerset Steam Express in summer comes down via Taunton. Yeah, that'd be good to see. Bristol to Reading is quite away. It's your dream. Yeah, I remember London to Swansea. Yeah, I know you've mentioned that before. Queen Bee is back. Welcome back. Before the pandemic, they were running a 150. Well, you know me with a 150. I have got a few scenarios that I've created myself running the 150 on here. Again, the 150 is suited to this. The 150, the 101, they're all suited to this. Plus, you can get so many different liveries now, can't you, in the Creators Club? That, you know, you can get a 150 that has a livery that would appear kind of around this area, which is quite nice. I think the 150 is, livery wise, I think that is the most. I'm looking for the right terminology. It's the train that I've got the most downloaded liveries for, I would say. I just wish it would work a bit better, the 150, you know. It's making you feel nostalgic, this one. That's what it's about, yeah. That's Heritage Railway for you as well, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. The 150 is my favourite livery. Yeah, don't forget, everybody, if you do own the 150, go on to the Creators Club and download the Tintin 57 gaming channel livery. You'll find it there. If you just search for Tintin_57, it will pop up. So if you do own West Cornwall, and you've got the 150, just go on there. Somebody designed that for me, so go and get that. It's good fun. The only days they use Norton is Gala days. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. You guys can tell me. The way it's modelled in the game, is that what it looks like in real life? It looks a bit bare. It just looks like just a plain old platform, doesn't it? So, you know, there's no station buildings or anything like that. This is Watch It. There's a boat museum there. And we've got a 10 coming up. There's the museum. It's nice to see. That's another thing they added. All these passengers. I mean, you're going to have lots of passengers, aren't you, in summer? So it was nice that they added that. Because prior to that, let's just sound the horn. Prior to that, it was a bit dead, passenger-wise, wasn't it? I don't know what you mean. What do you mean, Stace? I don't get it. It doesn't take you long to make a that word video. Have you made another video? Is that what you're saying? If you have, I haven't seen it. The West Somerset camera. Yeah, it's got cameras, hasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I have been on there and looked at those actually, Dave. You've made a video, but not for this channel. Or send me a link then. West Cornwall's on. Oh, it's on sale, is it, West Cornwall? Yeah, yeah. I like West Cornwall, as I said. Yeah, if you haven't got West Cornwall, give that a try. Especially if you like your UK stuff. In fact, I think, Dave, talking about those West Somerset cameras, I do believe there is one at Williton, which is the next stop. I've looked at that one quite a bit. Right. Let's slow up slightly for this 15. Then we got a 10 just before Williton. This is one of those routes though, when I look at it, when I play it, it does make me want to visit this route. Because I love this beach. It's empty though. I really don't believe on a day like this that's empty. That's Doniford Holt. Now, I don't know if it's really the case, but when I get to Williton, I always think that's kind of like the middle of the route. I could be wrong. I know when I'm running a service, I always see Williton as being the sort of middle part. Although, we are going further today, going this way. It's a beautiful route, yeah it is, it is. And of course now as well, we got, not in this because this is a scenario, but in the timetable mode, we can have the dynamic weather as well. So this is probably the nicest it's going to look, but we can change the weather to whatever we want. It is one of those routes as well, it looks quite good in the snow. You know, with all these hills, etc. A bit like Northern Transpennine in that respect. because all these hills get covered in snow, which is quite nice. No passenger service at the moment. Oh, they moved to the Christmas specials, do they? The old Santa specials. They start those early then, don't they? They must be popular. Yeah, I guess at this time of year though. You know, not in the summer season. I guess the passengers that are using it are either train spotters or people using the route to actually get, you know, people who live locally who are actually travelling using it like the bus service to get from one station to another. I guess in summer it's absolutely packed. So changing them to Santa specials I suppose makes sense for a few weeks. Now, in the timetable mode, once you get to Williton, they did add some static diesels at these sheds, but I don't know whether or not they appear in the scenarios. I don't know if the scenarios were updated. Because that's another thing with a single track line, of course, that you don't see any other traffic. And apart from the workmen's coaches back at I can't remember the station. It's behind us now. There were some static old coaches that are used for the workmen on the line, as I understand it. There was no other traffic to see on the route, and then pretty recently they've just added at the major stations. They've added static trains in there and at these sheds. We'll soon find out. You do generally, I think I can see something now, you do generally pass something at Williton and the station before Bishops as well. You usually pass something, but apart from that you didn't see a lot, so it's good that they filled it up. So we've got an 09 on the opposite side. Oh, Streamlabs is mentioning Stacey again. Yeah, there you go, there's a 47, which is sat there waiting. So it was empty at this point when it was released. There's the 09, looking very shiny. And I am not going to spad on West Somerset. Might spad everywhere else, but I'm not going to spad at West Somerset. There's no way. Not at these speeds. And if there's any of you watching who are not used to train and train sim driving terminology, spad is signal past that danger. Basically, I've gone for a red. Which, if you've been a regular, you've seen me do a couple of times recently. Northern Transpennine and the Arosa line. In fact, the Arosa line, I've done it the last 2 times I've streamed it. Oh, which is hilarious. Right, that one's pulling out now because we've got in. So, we've got the doors open. Let's let everybody get on or off. It's great he's got all these old advertisements as well. I love this. Fruit drinks, motor spirit oil. We've got notices up here. It looks like the timetable. It's a bit blurry, but it's the timetable, isn't it? Looks like. All the old lamps are in. All those that are asking for onboard toilet sim. There's even station toilets. Still locked, we can't get in. Right, we can get the doors to locked and we can be underway, so let's do that. And we've got a yellow, so let's go. I thought that guy was going to come across the crossing then. Yeah, turn your PC on and try it. Yeah, just try it, and just do it in your own time. You probably don't have this route because this is a paid route. This is an additional one, but it's always in the sale actually. If you fancied it, it's in the sale quite a lot. Yeah, blame the unexpected hold up for the SPAD on Transpennine. I'm with you there on that one. I keep meaning to run that again because that was altogether strange. I've not seen that before. I really did think that there was some problem with the red lights, and we got one of those random reds that has come up on various routes. But no, I'm glad we hung on because the traffic did start to clear ahead of us. But yeah, it was my own fault for going a bit too fast when I knew somebody was in front. So doesn't matter how much experience you've got in this game, you can still mess it up. I'd have a field day watching you play. I've said this before though, I'd like to see you play it honestly. It would make a very good stream for a complete beginner to play Train Sim World, and I'll tell you something else, I bet Dovetail would quite enjoy that as well, because it would be a measure for them to see how easy or not it is to pick it up. It's good feedback for them. They've done a lot of stuff in TSW3 to make it a bit more welcoming for new players. So the training centre, for example, and all the tutorials going into the training centre. There's more on-screen prompts now for different things, and if you can't get the train started, you get various different messages coming up, kind of explaining what you need to do. You didn't used to get that, so quite often you'd do a run, and the way these brakes work on some of these different locos, you just didn't know. Unless you ran that particular loco a lot, you really didn't know what it was you needed to do to get going. So yeah, it's geared very much towards beginners. So I think it will be good feedback. So I think you would do well with a few streams on that stage. To be honest, you should strongly consider giving it a bash. And at the very least, we'll all come in and laugh at you anyway. So it'll be dead popular. Yeah, you can start streaming again. As Dave says, yeah, play Resident Evil. Yeah, that's another thing. You could play Resident Evil. We'll come and watch that. Right, 8.8 miles to Bishops. We got 13 minutes. I didn't actually see if we were on time. We must have been on time, but I'm not too worried. Speed up slightly. think I've ever played Resident Evil, to be honest. I don't mind watching people play it. I've never played it though. I nearly bought it because I got PlayStation VR. Well, I had it for the PS4. I've still got it. It's packed up though. I've not used it. I've not used it with the PS5. But I did think about playing Resident Evil on the VR. But it would have made me quite nauseous, and I think it would have scared the life out of me probably. So we're back on a gradient again. See what I mean? But to the naked eye, you can't always spot these gradients. But there's a few of them on this route. So going back to the new route. So we've only got a couple of weeks to go till the new route. The 15th it's coming out, which is a Tuesday, which still seems a bit weird to me, them releasing on Tuesdays. But I will be playing it, so I'll probably be playing it the day it comes out. We'll try and do one at night on the Tuesday, once I've got it and I've got it installed and I've finished work. So if you haven't picked it up or you're planning to pick it up, you're not quite sure, we'll run it as usual on day one and have a look at it. There's only the one loco with it. I'm calling it a loco. It's not a loco, is it? By the strict sense of the term. But yeah, the 323. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. Just because it's another UK route. It seems like ages since we had a UK route, doesn't it? So I think a lot of people have said though as well, because Birmingham's in it. Birmingham's such a big station. What's it going to look like in game? Is it going to be empty? Are they going to do something to fill it up? I guess we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see from the first preview stream. But I imagine it's a mammoth station to model. That's if they've modelled all of it. Because remember Grand Central Station on the Harlem line? That's of course a big station, but only the bit you come into was modelled. You couldn't go up onto the the forecourt, the station, sort of where you buy your tickets and all that. The famous part with the steps and the balcony, which I've actually been to in real life. It is actually quite a nice station, Grand Central. So I wonder how far have they gone with Birmingham, and is that the same? Are you only going to use the platform that you are coming in and out of? Don't know. We'll see. But we're getting nearer to the Avanti Pendolinos, aren't we? By having Birmingham there. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Avanti trains running through Preston. That's what I want to see. Maybe one day. Right, 7.1. Don't think we're going to do it in 8 minutes, to be honest. The only good thing to come out of Birmingham was getting to meet Dustin. Oh, Dustin Rhodes, is that where you met him? More chance of the Avanti running on time in the game than there is in real life. Yeah, actually, I was looking forward to a train trip tomorrow because, well, Stace knows this, but I'm going down to I'm working. I'm going down to visit somebody in Walsall tomorrow. So whenever I can go by train, I go by train. I don't usually attempt the M6, especially around Birmingham sort of area, if I don't need to. I know Walsall's my side of Birmingham. It's north side of Birmingham, isn't it? You don't quite get into all that messing about that you do. But yeah, the train strikes are on, so I'm having to drive it, unfortunately. So I would have been catching an Avanti for the first part of that journey if I'd have been going down by train. But maybe next time. Actually, I'm going down to London on the 17th, so providing there's no strikes that day, I will be going all the way down to Euston on one, so yeah, look forward to that. Here's our next station, which is Stowgumber. Got some nice allotments over this side, look. People growing their veggies. I think we got a red phone box over here, have we? Somewhere. I'm sure we had a red phone box. There we are. That'll bring back some memories. Thanks again, everyone, for those thumbs up. Appreciate that. So let's have a look what we need to do, because we can bring up this itinerary. So Bishop's Lydyard, we're due at 16:50. We stop at Norton Fitzwarren. And then we go down, and it finishes when we actually go and request access to the main line, but we don't actually go onto the main line, so that's a shame. But yeah, Only Crocombe, that's right. Yeah, that's the next one. And that's the station I was trying to think of, where generally it goes out into a double track, and usually there's a passing point there. And usually you will pass somebody in that station. So there and Williton is generally where you'll pass another train when you're driving on this route. But this is one of those routes, though. It is a nice, pleasant run. If you've got a bit of time to spare, it's a good run. That void there is for a crossing ahead, so we need to sound the horn. You guys know too much about trains and stations. Do you know, actually, I don't. I might sound like I talk a good game, but actually I don't. I knew a little bit about it because I used to work for the railways, years and years ago, though, but not really in an on-train capacity. But since this game has been out, all those years I've been playing it, I have actually got back into it, and I've learnt a little bit more about it. But I wouldn't say I'm an expert. My knowledge is embarrassing next to some of the players that are playing this. He used to work there in the 90s. Was I ever born then? Yeah, that is rude. That's very rude. Yeah, and I was working on British Rail in the 90s, so there you go. Right, so we've got well, we've got a minute and a half until we're due, and we've still got 5 miles to go. So we're not going to worry about that too much. Hey Peanut, how you doing? I thought Train Life may have sent you over the edge, and you quit the country or something. Dave just made me feel young again. He was working for BR in the 70s. That's good to hear, Peanut. Hey Patrick, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Patrick. Yeah. Proper diesels back in the 70s. Do you want to talk about train wreck? We talked about it a little bit earlier, actually. Yeah, Dave's still playing it. I'm waiting for the next patch. But I will definitely be going back to it. I've not abandoned it or anything because I do enjoy it, but just had the shine took off it with that last patch just a little bit. So yeah, but I will get back to it. How old am I? Older than 40, but less than 50. So there you go. There's a range for you. God, there's no no Bambi killing. Yeah. Well, there might be Bambis on West Somerset Railway, but they're well hidden if they are. We don't see them. I'm going to ignore space now. Dave got timed out for typing his age as 69. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's Streamlabs. It must be one of the band numbers or something. Anyway, back to West Somerset. Right, so this is Crocombe. Actually, you don't usually run along this platform. You usually run on the left. So in timetable mode, you'll run on the left, not the right. So they've been routed onto this side for some reason. Right, so not far. Got a steep drop downhill, so you've got to watch the speed on this section. Hey, Mr. Water, how you doing? Welcome in. Actually, train life again reminds me. Did you start it, Farah, or have you not started it yet? Are you still working through the pile of shame at the moment? Wasn't sure if you started it. Last patch, yeah, you did tell me that. You did tell me that. Yeah. The other thing that's just come to my mind, talking about the pile of shame, police patrol officer is coming out on the 10th of November, so we're quite close to that, aren't we? Just over a week. So I think I'll be playing that too, so that'll be a new game for the channel. Let's hope it's better than Donut Simulator. I think it should be. There was another patch again last week for Autobahn 3. So I did jump in and play it for about half an hour afterwards, but nothing's changed. Just so you know. I've kept it installed though, because I'm determined to play a little bit of it once it's fixed, but yeah. Puzzle Peanut, he's going to retire from gaming, I think, aren't you? Doesn't want to see another PC port. Yeah, so I don't know what that one. I don't know what that will be like, but I mean, we'll try it. You know, let's try it together and see how it is. I'll take the pain, then you don't have to. I think though that that's going to be, from what I can see on Twitter and various other places, I think it's going to be quite popular, that on console. But like you say, let's just hope it, you know, it runs good. And certainly the missions are a little bit more structured and make sense. Yeah. What is a Twitter? Bet your nails playing up against this there. Right, 2.2. We're getting there. Then the section after Bishopstown to Norton is fairly slow. I think for a large part of it it's 5 miles per hour, so plenty of brakes on this section. So I've only just noticed we've got a co-pilot. I didn't even see him. Where did he sneak up from? Yeah, I can understand that actually, Stacia. If you look at my, Twitter, well, you can't look at my Twitter because you just said you're not on it. But if you look at my Twitter, if you were to see it, I have debranded my Twitter somewhat. For various reasons. And it's gone back to a more plainer Twitter. Put it this way, there's some people out there that are just out to try to upset people. So I kind of just rebranded it and thought, what the hell. So I'm still on Twitter, but I'm not aggressively using it. Too much like hard work. Yoinka, how you doing? Right. A mile to go. Yeah, I always use Twitter just, to mainly follow subjects that I was interested in, like my local football team, things like that. Rather than use it myself, although I have used it a bit. That's how I know you, Stace, isn't it? Really, from Twitter and the podcast. But yeah, I don't aggressively use it. So I've got it, but it's there. And Facebook, as you probably know, I've never been on Facebook, not once. Not my type of thing. It's going to be interesting, isn't it, in 100 years? We're just going off track slightly, but all this family tree tracing that has been going on for the past few years is there's a buzz for it, isn't there? Imagine in 100 years, not only will we be able to consult the census, but you'll be able to pay Facebook for your 100-year-old relatives' full history of what they did every single day, every single minute, where they went on holiday, who they were with, what they had for breakfast. It's all on there, and it's all recorded, unless you delete your profile. And even then, it wouldn't surprise me if they keep hold of it. I was your first follower way back when. Yeah, don't forget it either. Right, we've got a 10 coming up, and I can see a 47 in the platform, so we're going off to the left. He's waiting to come out as soon as we get past him. Let's get the brakes off. I quickly realise how dull we are. Right, let me just get properly into this platform, or else that train won't get out next to me. Yeah, I'll have a look around this platform once we come to a stop. I will take the flying camera around so you can have a look at it. Yeah, so there's traffic here as well, static traffic. There's another 47 there on the left. Those coaches on the left. If you go back to some of the videos we've got on the channel, you're pretty much on your own once you got to this end. Sorry, I missed that. What do you mean? Switch what off? You mean the Streamlabs? Right, let me get stopped right here. Right, that's it, everyone loaded. So that 47 is going out. Let's show say booms what we've got. Let me go down the signal box first. Which is the pity you can't see inside, but I understand it. It'll take some programming to do that, I bet. Someone's got a very good house there. Don't know what that says on the front door. And then if we fly down this end... Why did these guys not get on that train? That's a bit weird, isn't it? Plenty of people waiting. New cough cure. Nice. Insist upon having table mustard. I can't stand mustard. Right, we can get the doors locked. So let's do that. That's our final stop on the West Somerset complete. Continue south to Norton Fitzwarren where the line connects with the national network. Alrighty, so let's hop back in. Let's get the brakes off. 2.7 miles it is to Norton Fitzwarren, so let's get that done. Alright, they should be on the left, the sheds and that. I got you. Didn't like that train, they might get the next one. Problem is on this slide, they could be waiting quite a while. Maybe they're waiting for the Santa special. Maybe that's what it is. "27 people were killed at Norton Fitzwarren by a signalman setting the wrong route." Wow. I presume that was a derailment then, was it? Was that a recent thing or is that a while back? Right, this is the fast section. Yeah, 1940, yeah. That just shows, doesn't it? Just something simple like pulling the wrong lever. Yeah, so as I mentioned, you don't often in the game, you don't often run this this section of track. I think there's another scenario with the Class 09, which forms a train. I can't remember the name of the scenario, but there's one where you actually bring some coaches into service, in the morning, and I think there's another one where you use the O9 again and take the coaches out of service and you take them down to this end for storage. But yeah, this is all modelled. It's a shame it's just not used a little bit more in the game. I can always count on Dave to enhance the mood. They must have told you that, Dave, on one of the times you went to visit, and you were probably taking a tour or something, I expect, did you? Unless you've read a book about it. Yeah, tours. Yeah, I like history. I think we talked about that before, didn't we? I quite like history as well. I quite like watching the videos on YouTube. Things like you know, when they've created they flooded valleys to make a reservoir, and there's old buildings underneath, and then when the water goes low, the buildings start to appear out of the water. I find that kind of stuff fascinating. There's a few videos just recently that have come up because of that very hot summer we just had. There's quite a few of those come up. There's a guy on YouTube called Martin Zero. Don't know if any of you have watched any of his, but his are quite good. He's generally one of these urban explorers. He goes climbing down drains and things. Those ones are not as interesting, but yeah, he goes to all these reservoirs and looks for the buildings, and he flies his drone over the top. It's all quite good stuff. Quite like it. Right, we have got a mile until the 5 miles per hour. You see, I do the driving. Dave updates us on local matters of historical importance. I should add to that, I usually do the driving badly. While Dave gives us the points of interest. Oh yeah, well I remember as well that Martin Zero on a train related theme. I'm sure it was his. He goes down under Sheffield, one of the Sheffield stations. There's like massive tunnels under the stations at Leeds as well, and he's exploring down right underneath the stations. There's like tunnels, big tunnels. That's quite interesting. Mr. White, Facebook, not your type of thing, and Twitter's the city. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, I'm with you. Tiverton Parkway, yeah. I think eventually they'll, if it goes on long enough, they'll probably create something in as many places as they can in the game. The driver never got over it and died a year later. See, that's a shame, isn't it? Because it's probably not his fault, unless he was speeding as well at the time the junction was also set wrong. Because that was going to be my next question. Because it's 5 miles per hour now, assuming this is where it happened. 5 miles per hour now, but was it always 5 miles per hour? Because you would think if someone sets a points wrong here, it would just, it may tipple over, but I don't know. But if he's bombing it along at a rate of knots, and then because it is a double track section here, look. If he's bombing it along, and he shouldn't be, and the signalman sets it wrong, then yeah, it's going to be catastrophic, isn't it? He was going about 40. Well, yeah. I wonder what the speed was then. The permitted speed. Because I don't think he's got anything to feel guilty for, has he? If he's within the speed limit and somebody else sets it wrong. Unless it was survivor guilt, maybe. Don't know. Well, that's ending the stream on a cheery note, isn't it? Hybrid Dave and Farah, the prophets of doom. Yeah, don't worry, the track isn't missing there. We're going to the right here. I'm assuming at one time the track would have gone to the other side of this platform. There would have been a line in going along this side here. Seems very flat here, doesn't it? I bet it doesn't look like that in real life. A new signalman did. Was he on a YTS or something? All them now that weren't around in the 90s won't know what a YTS is. That cheered me right up. Actually, yeah, Peanut's got it right there with the analogy of the different social medias. That's a gravel works, is it, Dave? Right, so we are making steady progress. So the other thing to watch with this one is when you get down to here, the signal that is coming up is actually a stop board rather than a lit signal. It's just a stop board. So that, I think, not just on here but on a couple of other routes, has caught a few beginners out before now. As we'll see when we just come around this corner. Yeah, so if we look on the map, this is the main line. And it obviously just goes into the ether at that end. And we are coming down to this signal where we would normally just come onto the main line. And we stop and we jump out and we pretend to ask for access to get onto the main line, and that's us done then. Have I played any more Construction Sim? No, I haven't. No, I know. Recently, I keep saying I'll go back to it. I just haven't. As I said, I was off last week, and I didn't really go on the PlayStation at all for the whole week. I didn't really do anything. I've only kind of just come back this week. But it is on my list. I haven't forgotten about it. So you can just see the white board to the right of the dot there. That's the stop signal. So we don't want to breeze through that. This is the main line here on the right. Is Construction Sim on my pile of shame? It's not on. It's not the pile of shame. It's the. I have two piles of shame. I have one that is an actual pile of stuff that is physically in a pile on disk, and then I've got other stuff that's installed, but I just haven't either started it or I've done kind of like the intros and not carried on. It's one of those. It's on there. But I just haven't carried on with it yet. But I do plan to. I think it's one of those things where I got right into it, and then there was the issues, and it kept crashing. I didn't want to stream it, because if it crashes, I'm streaming directly from the PlayStation. The whole stream stops, you see. So I was a bit wary about streaming it. But I believe that's fixed, so I might be alright. Okay, so I need to climb down and head to the contact point. So let's go out the door. And we'll climb down. Yeah, there's the stop signal. And we're meant to telephone the signaller. So we're not actually going to do that. So there we go. So it's meant to take an hour and 20. It's took an hour and 36, nearly an hour and 37. And it's only 23 miles, but it's a good run. I'm sure you'll agree. It's quite a nice run. Just looking down the chat. Does this game have Oxford Road to Liverpool Lime Street? No, it doesn't. No, I wish it did. I do hope we get all the Manchester stations at some point, because that'll be nice. Yeah, digital pile of shame. Yeah. To be honest, yeah, I don't have many. I have a lot for me personally, but yeah, compared to some of you guys, especially Farah, I know Farah's got loads. Yeah, I couldn't stand having loads and loads. I feel really guilty about it. I only generally will buy something if I know I'm about to play it. So my pile of shame's not that massive, but it's still big enough for me. Need to get a PC and stream so we can co-op. Yeah, co-oping will be fun. Yeah, definitely. Hey, Krazer. Am I getting Birmingham Cross City? Are we playing that on release day? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, guys. Listen, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. As always, hope you've enjoyed that little run. Back on the old classic line, which was the first DLC for console on TSW. I'm probably not going to be streaming tomorrow because I'm away tomorrow, and it is the roadmap stream. Remember, tomorrow night, if you're interested in that, on Dovetail's channel. So tune into that, see what's coming up. I believe it's the last roadmap stream for this year as well. So it might be worth listening in on that, because we know about the UK route. But there are some other routes on the radar, aren't there, as well? So maybe they'll get mentioned. I don't know. I haven't seen the roadmap, so I can't tell you. But tune in for that, because it could be interesting. And apart from that, I will see you on the next one. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for the thumbs up. Have a good one. Bye for now.